What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and technical difficulties notwithstanding, we have an extremely special guest once again. I've known this good brother from the OKP message boards for a long time now, and he was always one of my favorite mainstays on the boards. He's H-Town born, then moved to LA, and now he's hiding out. He's out in the Honeycomb hideout somewhere in the secluded location. So, party people, we have my man Fried Drexler in the building. What's good, bro?
All right. What's happening? I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me, man, for sure.
Absolutely, man. Good to have you on. So we're going to get into some Astros talk this evening, being that you're from the H. So first and foremost, what are your earliest baseball memories?
Probably my first memories are when I was in elementary school, probably like second, third grade. Me and my moms lived with my grandma and my grandpops.
Okay.
So my grandpops was a huge fan. So he like watched, all the games, away games, and he listened to the games on the radio and shit like that. But he went to about 3 or 4 games a week. And this was when like tickets were like, dude, I swear tickets were like 50 cents, dude. Like they had to be like $1.50 or 50 cents. Cause we sat in the pavilion, which was like, outfield.
Yeah.
So he had like a handicap. He was crippled. So we had to go early because this was before they even had handicap parking spots. Like they didn't have handicap parking spots when I grew up in the 70s. They didn't have that shit. I can remember when they first started getting them. So we used to go early so he could park in the first row on the first spot. Yeah. So as soon as they opened the gates at like the games would start at like maybe 7:30 or 7, we would get there at 5. And they would open the gates at like 5:10 or 5:15, and we would be sitting like right there when they opened the gate. And we used to go, and I would see batting practice, and like I would have, when I got out of school, I would take a nap. When I got home, I would take a nap, and I had a uniform, and my grandma would always have it ironed and pressed. When I woke up, she made me a sack lunch to go to the game with a sandwich in it and like chips and shit, so I don't have to buy hot dogs all the time. Like I only got a hot dog every now and then when it was like a treat. Or if they hit a home run, my papa would buy me a hot dog.
Okay.
If somebody for the Astros hit a home run, he would buy me a hot dog. But other than that, I always ate a ham sandwich or just whatever, peanut butter and jelly, whatever she made me. Because we went, I'm telling you, like 3 or 4 games a week. So I started knowing the players like really, really early. But this was in the 70s. So it was, Cesar Cedeno. These players you probably don't even, probably know Jose Cruz. You probably heard of Jose Cruz. But there's Bob Watson. Bob Watson, that was a Yankee GM for a long time.
Okay.
He was the Astros first baseman.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. This is when J.R. Richards was pitching. And so I got to see a lot of players too from other teams, but it was National League, because I never saw American League players back then. So I never, because the games, you might see like a Rangers game every now and then. Like I would go to Dallas, my sister was in Dallas, and I went to LA a lot because my aunt lived in LA, my grandmother's sister.
Yeah.
So I knew all the Dodgers players, who they were. I knew who the Reds players were because they had Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and Geronimo Concepcion and Tony Perez. Like all these names you knew. So all the National League, all the Pirates, I knew a lot of who the Pirates were, like Stargell. Like he was one of my favorite players back then. But I only knew National League because the Astros were in the National League. So, and that's all I got to see when I would go to the games. So that was my earliest memories were, like the 70s, early 70s. And man, I was collecting, I had baseball cards too. That was another thing.
Yeah, you and me both. Man, yeah. You talking about J.R. Richards is actually one of the players that I wanted to talk about because I remember when Nolan Ryan was with the Astros and he said one of the pitchers that he enjoyed watching the most was J.R. Richard. Like every time his name was brought up, Nolan Ryan had nothing but great things to say about him. And he was a little before my time, but I was just looking him up and seeing the accolades that he had in that short amount of time, and like leading the league in strikeouts 2 years, and then ultimately suffering a stroke, and that basically, basically ended his career.
That ended his career, but before that, he had the hardest slider that you probably ever saw. So he was the one that, like, before everybody had the fastball and the curveball. But when he started throwing the slider, he was the main one that came in with the hard slider. And he had the fastball too. But yeah, he was like one of the best pitchers in the league. He was a big brother, big tall brother. And I can remember my great grandmother was in her late 80s back then, maybe, or 90s. I mean, this is my grandmother's mother, right? So we used to go over to her house like every Sunday, to where she was living with my aunt, one of her daughters, right? So she was a big time Astros fan. That's another thing. All old people were baseball fans back then, big time. Sure. Like, I don't care if it was an uncle or an aunt. It could be a woman or a man, but they all knew baseball and they loved that shit.
100%.
Yeah, so we used to go over there like every Sunday or whatever, just to see her, and they would have food or whatever. And she loved the Astros. She would listen to the games on the radio because she couldn't go to the games. Like, she was already too old to like go like to games and shit. Yeah. So she listened to every game on the radio, and she had this doll that they gave away at like one of the games. Like, somebody bought it to her, right? And it was a J.R. Richard doll. Right? It was like a stuffed animal type deal. It was like a stuffed doll, right? And she said that her dream was to get that doll signed by J.R. Richard.
Yeah.
And she was already like almost 90. Like, she was like old. Like, so we used to always like, man, you ain't never getting that doll signed. Like, like, you're not gonna go to a game. Like, well, so like my aunt, who she lived with, her husband used to do jewelry this was before like all that bling shit now. He was making jewelry like that back then. Like diamonds, and putting diamonds in pendants and all that shit. But he was making it for like pimps and hustlers and shit.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was meeting pimps and shit. They would come to pick up their jewelry. I was meeting them way back then. Like, and he was doing it for a few celebrities in the city. But nobody knew how to get to J.R. Richard, right? Except for this one dude came over one time, and he told my grandma, he's like, yeah, Miss Johnson, I'm going to get him over here. I'm going to get that doll signed for you. Dude, like, I think the next year, I don't know what year it was, dude, I just like, we got all these phone calls at my house. It's like, J.R. Richard is over here. He's signing the doll today. He's signing the doll. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, take me over there. I'll tell my mom, take me over there. She's like, I ain't going over there. You're like, we're not going over there. It's not going to be fast enough. You're going to be gone by the time you get there, all this shit. I went in my room and started crying and shit. Like, I was like, man, I could have met J.R. Richard. Like, but yeah, so he came and signed the doll. Like, and that was like, that meant so much to her that he would do that for her, because she lived like, she wasn't rich or nothing. She was just like a regular old lady living in the house, like way out. He came out there, sat with her. They talked and talked about baseball. And he came out there for about an hour or two and sat up and talked to her. And then they left. And then he left. So he was always my favorite player after that. Like, he was still kind of my player, but Cedeno was my favorite player.
Okay.
So if you look up Cesar Cedeno, he played for the Astros back then, number 28. He was my favorite player back then. But yeah, JR was a special dude. Yeah.
And so what were some of your favorite Astros moments?
Well, we had a few. Like, the earliest one that I can remember as far as playoffs is in 1980. we played the Phillies in the National League Championship Series. So I was probably in middle school, and I remember being in a class, and this was when you realize that you know, you already know you growing up broke, but then you're in a class, like I was in a middle school class, and this one dude was like, this little white dude was like, I'm leaving, I'm going to the game today. You know, this is when they had day baseball playoff game, right?
Yeah.
So you thinking like, how the hell is he going to a game? Don't his parents got to go to work? You know, like, because all our parents work, they ain't leaving, taking off work to go to no baseball game back then. So dude was going to the game, and it was a playoff game. This was a game, like a major playoff game, like when they play. It was a National League Championship Series. You know what I'm saying? And he went to the game, and that was the earliest memory I remember of the Astros in the playoffs. It was like 1980. They played the Phillies. They lost, but I think they went to like 6 games or something. But yeah, that was my earliest playoff memory. And then in like '86, they lost to the Mets when the Mets had Strawberry and all them. And Gooden. So I remember that because I was in high school then. So I remember that. And then the Cardinals, they lost to the Cardinals in '04 when Pujols was mashing on them. He hit about 3 or 4 homers on them. And then the '05 World Series against the White Sox. So those are my winning memories. Other than that, they basically had losing seasons. You know what I mean? Other than those years up until now.
So what was it like for you whenever they got over the hump and won that World Series?
Oh, man, come on. When we won in 2017, that was like, shit, I probably cried. Like, that was crazy because, and this was before, like, when we won, nobody was talking about all that scandal shit. Like, so that wasn't even on my mind. You know what I mean? So it was like we won the World Series. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was pretty happy. Like it was a big thing for me. Yeah.
Word. So who was some of your favorite non-Astros players, like from the present day?
Non-Astros players from now?
Yeah.
Or just over the years?
Well, you know what? We can go old and like back then and now.
All right. So the ones I wrote down, I probably wrote down old ones, but then I'll get to some that's now. So I got Ricky Henderson, Darryl Strawberry was always one of my favorite players.
Absolutely.
Tony Gwynn, Bo Jackson, and Deion Sanders.
Yes, sir. I remember I tried to emulate that high leg kick like Darryl Strawberry when I was in Little League. Couldn't tell me nothing. I mean, yeah.
Strawberry was the man. Like he was one of my favorite players because he was the tall dude. Everybody hated him. You know what I'm saying? Even though we played against the Mets in that series, I was still a Strawberry fan and a Gooden fan. Like I loved our Gooden too. He was one of my favorite players too.
100%. So how about present day?
Present day, non-Astros.
You can add Astros too if you want.
Oh, well, I don't need, that's too easy because I gotta go with Jordan. He's my favorite player. Yeah. But I'd probably say Seager is one of my favorite players. Corey Seager. He's one thing about him is it's hard to get a ball by that dude. Like you can't strike him out. Like he don't strike out a lot. So he gonna put some wood on the ball. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. Like you're not gonna strike that dude out. So he's one of my favorite players. And I didn't really like him when he was with the Dodgers because he used to get hurt all the time. But I like him. Mookie Betts. Like Mookie Betts he's one of my favorite players. I mean, I like his game. Shit. Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll has game.
Yeah, and I didn't really pay attention to him until the World Series, man. That dude, he can rake, and that dude's got some wheels.
Yeah, that dude got wheels, and he can rake, and they they just gonna get better because they got Suarez today from Seattle, so they're gonna be pretty good. Springer's still one of my favorite players, George Springer.
Where's he at now?
In Toronto.
Okay.
Correa, I still like Correa. I still mess with Correa. But my absolute favorite players is like Jordan and Altuve. They're my favorite players right now.
Yeah, Jordan, boy. I tell you, he turns it on in the postseason, man. He is
I ain't never
problem.
seen like nobody do the shit. Some of the shit he does. Like he's another one. He does strike out, but it's hard to get a ball by that dude. Like
yeah,
you just not going. You got to throw perfect pitches to get him out, or either he don't hit well when he's injured. Okay, so if he's got a nagging injury or he's sick or something like that, he don't focus well. But when he healthy, yeah, good luck. You know what I mean?
100%. So I tell you what, man, I really liked Justin Verlander. I love man, when y'all had Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Garrett Cole.
That man was appointment watching for me. He was easily one of my favorite Astros, but Altuve, man.
That boy is bad.
That little short son bitch can flat out hit, man.
Yeah, he can hit.
I love watching Altuve play.
He clutch.
Like, he is.
You know what I mean? Like, and he strike out too though, but you can't get. It's hard to get balls by him. You know what I mean? Like, you just not gonna just throw no bullshit up there. He ain't not gonna swing at no bullshit. If he do, he might knock that shit out the park.
I was about to say he'll make you pay for sure.
Yeah, he gonna make you pay for it. Yes, absolutely.
So now we're going to get into the 5-question segment. So first and last question are the same question I ask every guest I have on here. Questions 2 through 4, 100% random. So question number 1, what were Fried Drexler's go-to school lunch items?
When I got to middle school was the first school lunch I had because I went to a private school in elementary type. So we had brought our lunch. So when I got to middle school, yeah, you know, they give you the little calendar. And so they had pizza was probably my top. The pizza was probably my top, but they had like a snack bar. So they had the lunch line and then they had a snack bar where you could buy some whatever you wanted. Like they had little snacks back there.
Yeah.
So they had these chili cheese dogs. And they probably like gas station chili cheese dogs. So they used to heat them up in a microwave, right?
Yeah.
But that was like my number one favorite thing. But when I went through the line, because some days I didn't have money, like, you know, because once all the money was gone, like, you know, moms would give you some money for the week. And then you might spend on video games on Monday and be fresh out and have to hit the line the rest of the week. You know what I mean? So pizza was my shit. And then they had this barbecue beef type. I don't know if it was a pork bun or barbecue beef on a bun. That was probably my second favorite. But the rest of that shit I didn't really mess with. Like it was only them two, that pizza. And then I didn't get to school on time to get the coffee cake. I would have somebody bring me one. I never got there to physically go in there and get it, but I would have like one of my boys bring me one later. They would bring me an extra one or whatever. So I did like the coffee cake too.
Can't go wrong with that.
Nah, the coffee cake was the shit. But the pizza was, that's probably the number one lunch line thing.
Word. Question number 2. Who are your 5 favorite Houston rappers?
Houston rappers? All right. Number 1, Scarface. So we talking straight from Houston. We're not talking like no surrounding areas, right?
We can do surrounding areas too.
Because if you do surrounding, like Port Arthur's like what? Yeah, 70 miles from Houston. So Pimp C, Bun B would be on there. Paul Wall. I'm trying to think of somebody way back. Like, I mean, I gotta throw Willie D on there because he's like my boy. Like, I could tell you a story about Willie D. Man,
Please do.
Me and my boys used to, you know, we used to go to the club, right? So you'd be in the club, whatever, walking around. And so a lot of these dudes, like Willie D, not Face so much, but Willie D used to be in the club. Like he would just be in there with his boys. He'd just be in there walking around or whatever. So one of my boys used to always stop him. And he would be like, hit one for him or hit one for me. And what that means is like, he'll just start rapping about what you got on. So he'll just rap your whole outfit. Like, so he would just stop him and be like, whoever he was with, he'd be like, or like it would be 2 or 3 of us. He'd be like, man, hit one on him right quick. And then he would just look at you and just start rapping about your whole outfit. Like, I mean, this shit was crazy. So that's one memory I got about Willie D. So I got to add him to the list. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
His Controversy album, I discovered that album real late. I was late to the game of that album, but still, I'll play that album once a week, front to back, and I've been doing that for the last 2.5 years.
Man, I didn't even fuck with him though, rapping though. Really, honestly, even though we used to see him and shit. But I used to always like, man, he's so weak. He's the weakest link. Like, I used to always be like, man, this dude is terrible. Because Face was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But then I sat back, you know, and I got the later Ghetto Boy albums is really what turned me on to liking Willie D's rapping. So that Resurrection album is like, that's like one of my shits when he's on there. You know, he that's like his best album to me where he got off. You know what I mean? That Controversy album is what? Go ahead.
I said, is that the one with Gangsta Put Me Down on there?
That's the one with The World Is a Ghetto.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. That's the one that he really. But the Controversy album, I mean, I had it. You know, I had all that shit back then. You know, I would play it, but he wasn't like one of my top favorite rappers back then. You know what I mean? Because I was always into other shit outside of Houston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like all the Houston rappers was like native to us. You know, we knew about them. You know, that was, you know, they had other rappers that y'all probably didn't know about, like Wicked Cricket. Like, this is another one. He was from the city. He was a local. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of local rappers. Big Mello. I went to high school with Big Mello.
Really?
Yeah, Big Mello. He went to my high school. Big Mo went to my high school.
Hey, come on, man.
Yeah, Big Mo went to my high school. Jack Yates. You know about, if you had to talk about Jack Yates High School, yeah, Big Mo, Big Mike came through there for a little while. I'm trying to see who else came out of there that you might know. Big Mello is probably the only one you probably know, and then Big Mo. They was after me. You know, Big Mo was after me though. Yeah. Big Mello is somebody I used to see in high school. I used to see him walking in high school every day. I saw him. But Big Mo and them were they're younger than me. You know, I was already in LA when that shit came out.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Question number 3. Who, in your opinion, was the funniest personality on the OK Player message boards?
Man, I always got to go back to this shit. South Philly, man, dog. Dog.
Yes.
I remember one time they had some shit. It was like, remember when he had that Ock in his name?
Yep.
Remember that shit? And they had this shit called, they was putting all these Ock memes or pictures up. And they was just like, Ock this, Ock. And that motherfucker put up Ock of seagulls, that flock of seagulls. Man, I cried laughing at that shit, dude. Like, that shit was hilarious, dude. Like, so yeah, I gotta go back to that because like that was one of the funniest moments for me on that board. But it was so much shit on there, man. Like that shit got me through a lot of shit, man. Like a whole lot of shit.
That place was a zoo, man. It was like the OG. It was like the OG social media for real.
It is like that Twitter shit is like nothing but. Oh, it's just like OKP on steroids, basically. Yeah. You know what I mean? But OKP was like the landing spot for all that culture shit, like with like level head motherfuckers though.
Yeah.
Because if you came in there with trying to be like on some bullshit, or people could tell if you was like a clown. Remember that dude? Remember that Alabama Power dude?
Yes. Yes.
Came in there talking about washing his meat and shit, washing it.
Oh man,
I saw that dude for months, dude. Like, so it was a lot of. I liked it because it was educated people, but they were still clowning. Like, you know what I mean? Because they could decipher if you was a real bozo or clown. Like, you would get called out. Like
100%. Shout out South Philly, man, wherever he is, man.
Shout out South Philly, man, dude.
I still trip off that motherfucker, you Shaq.
Oh yeah.
That and talking about the gorillas flipping, talking about how you think gorillas be mad Diesel.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For him,
I'm in this group with like 10 OKPs, like I mean like 12. We in a basketball league. We've been in it since OKP, like 19, 20 years.
yeah.
Like so they always bringing up little sayings from over there, like that motherfucker you Shaq. Man, somebody brought that shit up a few weeks ago, man, because we got like a chat, like a little chat. We all be in there talking and shit, man. That shit is hilarious, dog, man.
For me, it's a two-way tie between him and Mr. Max.
Mr. Max was posting on Twitter like just like he just be posting like YouTube videos or some shit,
Yeah.
like for like years, like with like no replies, like he just posting that shit like clockwork, like there's all kind of videos.
Yeah.
He the R. Kelly man though.
Dude.
You can't say nothing bad about R. Kelly around here.
R. Kelly, Rick James, Buffalo Bills.
Oh, he know all that. He knows that soul music. He know music like a mom.
Yeah. I'll give him that. Yeah. Question number 4. In your opinion, what's the most underrated fruit?
Oh, I'll probably say blueberries.
Good call.
And the reason it being because I had heart surgery, right? Like in 2019, right? So I learned so much about eating different foods where you don't have to take like pharmaceutical medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you eat more of these foods. It's gonna help your situation. Blueberries, man, they do a lot for your blood and your heart, your blood pressure and stuff like that. I didn't even know that. So that's why I'm saying it's underrated, because some other people probably didn't know that. Like if you keep blueberries in your system, I gotta go with blueberries and ginger. Is ginger a fruit? Like I don't know if that's a fruit.
We'll make it a fruit.
That shit will fix anything. Like I swear, like if you keep that shit in your system, it'll keep a lot of shit off of you. Like so, I got to go with those two.
Dude, I have that. Like every morning, I'll mix. I'll do my put my beetroot in the blender and then add the ginger to it every morning.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and question number 5: what was the last thing that really made you laugh?
You mean is it comedy, or you mean just like I just had to laugh at some shit? Like I just had to laugh at
either or.
Man, I just had to laugh at, dude. I just had to buy a fucking refrigerator, dude. That's, I mean, shit. I still can't believe that shit. Like I fucking like I had a refrigerator for like 10 years. Like when I moved over here, and I bought a refrigerator and the shit went out. Like, and I had to like right before Thanksgiving, dude. It's like, dude, you
damn,
gotta buy a refrigerator. So I just went to Lowe's, dude. And it was like, fuck it, give me a refrigerator. Like they were like, what? They was like, because it was like people, helping other people. Like, man, we're gonna be like another 30 minutes. We're trying to write up this. They're buying a whole kitchen. I was like, man, do what you got to do. I'm not leaving here without a refrigerator, bro.
Right.
So whatever you got to do, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. So yeah, I gotta laugh at that, man. Because hey, I got it. I bought it 2 days ago, and it's in my kitchen now. So I had to laugh at that. But yeah, that's one thing. I mean, shit.
Yeah, life be lifing, man, and sometimes it comes in the form of a faulty refrigerator.
Man, come on, man. But I'm so happy that I got it because it's so much bigger than my other one. It got, ice maker, all this new shit. It's the latest state of the art shit. So I'm happy because I no more ice trays and shit.
There you go. So now we're going to get into a special portion of the program, which you actually suggested doing this. Now, if you follow me on my IG, you know that every once in a blue moon, I'll do a 30-second snack review. So whenever we went back and forth on the email, and I asked, and always in the end of my email, I always said, if there's anything else you'd like to discuss, feel free to let me know. And he hit me with such a brilliant idea. He said, let's do a 30-second snack review on your podcast. So we about to do a 30-second snack review on our podcast. So the snack that he chose, I looked all over for it. He has the queso Funyuns. I literally went to like 12 different gas stations and I couldn't find it anywhere in my vicinity. So instead, I took my own pick and I did the Nashville hot chicken flavored Lay's.
Okay.
We about to crack these bad boys open and see what they're talking about. So, without further ado, we're gonna crack these things open.
I'm gonna crack mine open now. And I went every time I went to get these after I told them they were sold out. So they all over the place, and I finally found a bag at the grocery store. So here's the queso Funyun. Let's see what they taste like.
Okay. What's the verdict?
Tastes like a Funyun with like the nacho cheese on it. I'm not a fan. I'll probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. Now I will fire off into this Nashville hot chicken flavor Lay's. Okay. Ooh, spicy got. Ooh, that spice got a real late kick to it.
Right. I knew it had to be spicy.
Yeah, that fastball got some late life to it, dog.
I might have to try those.
I was skeptical at first, and I was like, hold on now.
Because these have no spice to them at all. They just taste cheesy. They don't.
Ooh. I felt a slight tingle in the top of my head right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. This thing packs more of a punch than I anticipated, but man, I like these. It's like the chicken. I get the chicken flavor.
You do get the chicken flavor.
Yeah, I get that chicken flavor. I noticed it more in the second bite. But yeah, I'll definitely try these again. Try these again.
I'm gonna have to give those a shot then.
I'll probably give these a 7.
A 7, okay.
Yeah, right. For sure. So if there's anything,
mine got to go down to like a 4 then, because I'm not trying these again. So.
So if there's anything you want to plug or promote, the floor is yours.
No, I just got my website, KPNet Global, where I consult people about moving to Mexico or getting residencies or buying property, stuff like that. I've been out there for about 2 years. It's like my second year. I got my residency last year. This is my 3rd year actually being out there, but I got my residency last year. So I'm gonna probably be back out there next month, probably in January. I'm gonna be out here through the holidays in LA. Then I'll probably go back out there for the next 6 months. So if anybody's coming down there, Cancun area, I'm about 60 miles from Cancun. If you want to look at some property, you want to come visit, you want to be safe, you want to know where to go, where to eat, check us out on my website, KPNet Global. And I got another little hip hop store, 8296 Vintage. It's on, you can look us up on Google, 8269 Vintage. I sell like old source magazines. I got t-shirts on there, all kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that.
That sounds like something I need to know about.
Oh yeah, it's in my Twitter link. So
okay.
I'm gonna post some of the stuff on Instagram. I haven't put like a lot of it. I got an Instagram page too, 8296 Vintage. So you can see some of the stuff. It's all like old hip hop stuff. I got t-shirts, got some old stuff I used to have. So
dope.
Check it out.
Well, once again, man, thank you for being on. Seriously,
right, man,
I had a great time, man. I got to review snacks with my homie, man.
For sure.
On the
for
podcast.
Sure.
See, you done opened up Pandora's box. I might make this a regular thing now.
Hey, do that, man. Because
And
I wanted to do it when I was in Mexico, like you was doing it a lot when I was down there, and I was gonna hit you up about because they got some crazy snacks out there, like in the stores out there, like they got like barbecue grasshoppers and shit in the bag. You know what I'm saying?
No kidding.
Oh yeah, man, they got crazy snacks. So when I go back, we got to do it again. You know, from out there, I can do it from out there. Yeah,
for sure. And thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, download, and subscribe to At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. Make sure you go to my YouTube page. You can subscribe there at Danny Foxworth 843. You can find all the videos of all the episodes that I did for both At the Plate and Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. And again, thanks for listening. And for Fried Drexler and myself, till next time, y'all be good. 3 strikes.
peace.